Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. Hope you're having a great Tuesday here on 103.1, or maybe you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, or maybe you're listening later as this show gets shared on social media. You can listen on your favorite podcast, Coast Views, however, whenever you want to listen to us. Hey, listen, there was a great story being passed around over the last couple of days from southernliving.com, and the headline said this: Coastal Mississippi is back, and now's the time to visit these beautiful towns. You know, I've often said about this place that it's a collection of communities. Whether you go from Hancock to Jackson County, this collection of wonderful communities, and each of those communities has its own sense of place. They all have their own unique sense of place, and when you bring them together, you create a destination that is really, really. We often say that the coast of Mississippi is the secret coast. I often talk about Mississippi as the secret state. But the truth is, there's so much here that when people come here and they get to know the people, they fall in love with this place. And this particular writer, Valerie Fraser Lewis, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her last name, wrote a really terrific story. And the headline essentially said this: beautiful Mississippi towns have moved beyond a historic storm to rebuild and reimagine their very special stretch of the Gulf. It goes on. There's so many Coast Vue friends that are quoted in this story. But it talks about coastal Mississippi being ravaged by Hurricane Katrina, and then it has a great interview with Ashley Edwards from the Coast Business Council, and he talks about his involvement from the very beginning, the days after Hurricane Katrina, the way we had architects and planners from around the world that came here to be part of helping us reimagine where coastal Mississippi should go. Of course, it mentions the Oro Keefe Museum and the Walter Anderson Museum and other challenges that we face, but at the end of the day, it talks about that one of the wonderful things about coastal Mississippi that we had to be so thankful for is our great diversity here. Black and Hispanic and Slavonian and Croatian and French and Italian and Vietnamese communities all come together to create this very special sense of place. It interviewed Ted and Roxy Condry, who have made tremendous investments in Ocean Springs, and Jordan Nico, his brother Field, and he had the Nico restaurant group, and they've opened a number of restaurants along coastal Mississippi, and it just goes on and on. And man, when you read it, it makes you understand that we've arrived at a place that now the nation's beginning to take notice. That coastal Mississippi is an entity, is a place that people want to come and experience this great collection of communities. They might go to Ocean Springs, and while they're there, they'll be encouraged to go to Bay St. Louis and check that out and all points in between. Or they may be in Bay St. Louis and say, hey, why don't you go to Ocean Springs and go check that out and visit the points in between. My former colleague at the Sun Herald really made a terrific, this is like the closing paragraph. And he was an editor at the Sun Herald after Katrina. And he also was deeply engaged in the recovery effort, and now he's the general manager at the Sun Herald. But he said this: a storm has a funny effect in that it pulls people together. Right after the storm, you may not know your neighbors, but in times of crisis, you meet them and swap a cup of sugar for some propane. I thought that's a great way to say it, or something like that, he says. It's like a team-building exercise under the worst conditions, but we've come back strong and better, and I think we're looking forward to the future. Man, are we looking forward to the future. But the headline says, Coastal Mississippi, let me come back to the headline again. Coastal Mississippi is back, and now it's time to visit those beautiful towns. It doesn't say Harrison County is back. It says Coastal Mississippi is back. And the reason I mentioned Harrison County is you've heard me talk about some bylaws changes that were made by some of the members of the Harrison County Tourism Commission members. to centralize power in Harrison County. And last week they did something that just blows my mind. Mark Henderson, who's been on this show many times, he's the owner of Lazy Magnolia. He's an engineer. He's got sophisticated radar technology patents. He's just a really smart guy. Was the vice president of the Coastal Mississippi tourism effort and the president-elect. Recently, Mary Cracchiola resigned from the board, and the next man up, according to Hugh Keating, their lawyer. Hugh Keating, incidentally, has a tremendous history here in Coastal Mississippi. He's a great lawyer. He had a big role to play in dockside gaming here in Coastal Mississippi. He's a tourism expert. His advice was the next man up was Mark Henderson, because he was the vice president. That's what the bylaws say. At that meeting, I think Mark was president about 3 hours, essentially. What they did is a nominating committee came in and said that Mark is not going to be our president. Instead, they're going to put Brooke Schultz in as the new chairman, and she's from Harrison County. And they were also supposed to do a nominating report during that meeting, which they did not do. They said they'll do that next month, and it will be interesting to see what their next move is going to be as it relates to that. But they went against Hugh Keating's, their board lawyer's advice. And this is just one more iteration of efforts that's got a lot of people super concerned. I mean, the Gulf Coast Business Council is deeply concerned. I've talked to people of all stripes over the weekends, and I know a lot more than I'm sharing on the air, but believe me, there's tremendous concern about what is up at Coastal Mississippi Tourism at a time when we're coming out of the pandemic, have some of the best numbers we've ever had, and all this noise is happening. It's just truly remarkable. Now we're going to shift gears. As I mentioned in that story, you see one of the keys is I didn't mention any chains. These are local entrepreneurs that are helping define the sense of place here in Coastal Mississippi. They're making just tremendous impacts. And I had the pleasure this morning of being joined by two people who are also local entrepreneurs who are making their own contributions to Ocean Springs and soon to be Biloxi. And who knows where they will go next. But it's Chari and Craig Davis, and they're joining us from Ocean Springs this morning. And let me first just say good morning to you two. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks
great.
for having us.
It's great to have you. It's great to have you. You have a really good story. And why don't we start with this? And look, let's just kind of give the headline, and then we'll get into some of the details about the Jackson Pearl a little bit later in the meeting. But let's talk just generally about what you guys have done there, and then your efforts to move your efforts over into Biloxi. And then let's stop that part of the conversation for just a second. Come back to how you met in California and sort of what the various routes each of you took to meet each other, and that ultimately brought you here to Ocean Springs to make the investments that you're making. And then we'll come back to the Jackson Pearl and get into a lot more detail about some of the specific design elements and what your vision is, et cetera. It's really cool. So I really appreciate you joining me on the show. That is for sure. So let's start with what is the Jackson Pearl?
Jackson Pearl is a gathering place for all people, for all things. It is a creative hub of inspiration and a warm welcome for everyone. It's 6,400 square foot space of chandelier-drenched beauty and magic, and people have been coming from all over, even North Mississippi, to book their weddings and have their weddings and receptions and rehearsal dinners and baby showers, birthday parties, family reunions, corporate galas, holiday parties, even just simply big old meetings in a cool place. And it's been really exciting meeting everyone we've had the opportunity to meet so far through this venue.
Craig, talk about where it's located and add whatever you want to add to that.
Yeah, it's located in the beautiful downtown area of Ocean Springs. So everything is walkable and very accessible. After your event, we really promote people flooding back into downtown so they could deploy their money in, the restaurants, bars, and boutiques. So it's in downtown. It was the old historic ice house. So it was really cool to bring this building back to life. This has so much history, so much character, and a lot of buildings aren't made like that anymore. So it's really cool to bring it back to life.
Well, it's a great story, and we're going to come back to the specifics of the design and what you guys did and what your vision is for the future. We'll come back to that in a second. But Chari, you were born in Biloxi, but you were raised in Connecticut. Talk about your story. By the way, my son, you ultimately landed in New York City. My son lives in New York City, so that's kind of a connection that we have. But
Very cool.
yeah, so tell me about your path.
Let's see. I was born in Biloxi, as you said, and raised briefly in Bay St. Louis. And so my parents still have our childhood home there. It's just up the coast from Old Town Biloxi. And my dad was involved with being an electrical engineer for businesses like NASA. And ultimately, that's what brought us up to Hughes spacecraft in Connecticut. So I got to live a life in beautiful New
Let's do this. We're coming to the end of this segment. So you arrived in Connecticut. And so when we come back from this break, we'll pick it up right there and we'll continue the conversation. But I'm having a terrific conversation with Craig and Chari Davis of Ocean Springs, who are doing some innovative things. They're entrepreneurs, and they're really committed to, taking Ocean Springs and other cities for that matter to the next level. And you'll understand why here in just a second. We'll be back after this break.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi, and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
This is Coast View with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. One of the things I love about this show is the opportunity to meet entrepreneurs who have vision, who are really helping take coastal Mississippi to the next level. And that story that I shared at the beginning of the show from Southern Living Magazine is, all the incredible people who are putting their vision and their money out there to help create such a wonderful sense of place here in coastal Mississippi. And today we're visiting with Craig and Chari Davis. I say Sherry. She says she goes by Sherry or Chari, but Chari is the right way to say her name, and that's what I'll call her for the rest of this show. So when we went to break, you grew up. You're born in Biloxi, but not long. You headed out to Connecticut. Let's pick it up from there.
Sure. So I had the privilege of growing up in Connecticut and beautiful New England. I went to college at University of Rhode Island, and I got a bachelor's degree in fashion, textiles, merchandising, design, which laid the foundation for my design career. I started off in Manhattan, and right before I turned 25, I was like, what am I doing with my life? Booked a plane ticket out to LA pretty much, and I met Craig the first week I was out west, but from fashion design, it ended up being transitioning into wardrobe styling. I did a stint doing celebrity wardrobe styling, and I did fashion. I worked with fashion PR firms, and eventually it led me to being my services for design were requested by elite clientele, and I ended up venturing just divinely into the market of interior design. And we would have clients over to our house, and they would be asking if I could replicate the style and aestheticism that I was providing in our environments for them. And that's just how it kicked off. So from there, I ended up starting my own interior design firm. And, we ended up buying a property in Southern California, knowing that we were going to stay there for a while. We were definitely going to plant some roots there. And a better way to do that would be by purchasing a 20-acre farm and learning how to homestead, but offer our aesthetic and design expertise as kind of like a side hustle for the wedding industry. We knew that the wedding industry at that point was a growing entity in Southern California specifically, and through our markets that we were intertwined with, we were learning that there was definitely a need for fresh thought, fresh approach to event design, but also venues that could accommodate individualist thinking and kind of just offbeat, unconventional platforms to get married at. And through that, we were able to provide customers and clients with love and integrity and grit into an industry that was primarily beginning to be filled with just a lot of focus on business and money rewards rather than the reward of actually hosting couples for their beautiful day. So we were seeing an industry that had turned couples into maybe a monetary number rather than having a relationship with them and hosting, the most important day of their lives. We went in and started to change some things around.
That's so interesting. Hey, listen, before we come to Craig to hear his, being born and raised in Southern California and that magical day when y'all met each other not long after you arrived there, that's pretty amazing because that's a big place.
Oh, yeah.
Who are some interesting celebrities you work with along the way?
Ooh, I think one of my favorite celebrities of all time that we've ever had the privilege of working with was Mark Ballas and his wife, BC Jean.
Yeah.
A lot of people understand Mark from being a lead dancer and star on Dancing with the Stars, but he's also an incredible singer. And his wife, BC Jean, is a famous songwriter and also a performer, a singer as well. But they met and fell in love. He fell in love with her voice. And what a lot of people didn't know is that they're this powerhouse duo that started their own band, Alexander Jean. And they are so in love, and they're just so incredible human beings. And we hosted a music video for them at our venue back in Southern California. and we instantly just fell in love. And we got to meet BC's parents too, and now we have a long-lasting relationship with all of them. But it was really cool to, I don't know, be around a loving couple doing what they love together. And that's what we do.
Yeah, it can be really, I get it. It can be so inspirational. And, it's interesting you mentioned his name, because on Dancing with the Stars, he sort of came across that way as this like pure human being that really cared about people. And, you got a chance to know firsthand that that's actually the kind of person that he is. So Craig, coming to you, you were born in Southern California. Let's take your track.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, born in Southern California. Grew up, as a skateboarder, snowboarder, surfer, the typical Southern California kind of lifestyle. And, I was in college, taking business classes, trying to figure out kind of my path. I'm like, my passion was I wanted to be a snowboarder or a skater. Well, that never worked out. So I'm like, okay. Met the right people, building up this beverage drink called Rockstar Energy Drink. Dropped out of college. We had no money. We had no infrastructure. My best friend and I saw the rabbit or the light at the end of the tunnel, and took a leap of faith. And for about 20 years of my life, learning the ins and outs of building a business, working with, music tours, action sport events, sport agents, negotiating contracts, managing, every kind of event in that realm you can imagine, traveling all around the world, traveling nonstop. And it's kind of how I met Chari. Because I was snowboarding and she was up there as well, and we met. And
love at first sight.
Love at first sight, and we just hit it off. Had the best time ever, and kept it going.
You kind of described, listen, when I met my wife for the first time, it was also love at first sight. And we've been married, I don't know, over 30 years now. And it's still that kind of relationship. It's amazing when you find your soulmate, how much difference it makes. And, some of my friends, they've done that. Some of them, they've had difficulties. And you wish that everyone could find what you described about Mark Ballas, or what you guys have found yourselves, and what I have found with my wife, Ann. You hope that everyone could have an opportunity to see what that long-lasting kind of connection really brings. And in your case, it was more than just the love you had for each other, but it was this joining together of creative disciplines that you began to kind of meld together. Talk a little bit more about that, Craig.
Yeah, as Chari said, even before we bought the farm, we also had a antique warehouse down in Newport Beach, California. And so once Chari started, like she said, we had one neighbor come over to our house, and then the rest of the neighbors wanted Chari's design for their house. So then I was helping her on the side, and then we started an antique warehouse before that. And we just started designing it together with kind of the stuff I kind of like, my aesthetic, and with her being the powerhouse designer that she is.
And Craig's aesthetic is a lot of taxidermies.
Yeah, I like a lot of taxidermies. I like, I have a certain thing I like. But so that was our first endeavor together, and people really were vibing with what we were doing, and put those efforts into the farm and building that place out as a whole creative experience. But also taking everything very seriously of building the best experience for these couples on the biggest day of their life. So,
I like, Chari referred to this as the side hustle, but that's what you guys called it. But what's interesting is that you got a lot of attention for what you were doing. Tell me more about that, Chari.
Oh yeah, immediately. We all understand as entrepreneurs that when you start a new concept and a new business, it usually takes about 3 years to establish roots and kind of gain momentum. But for us, it happened a lot quicker than we expect and had anticipated in Southern California, which is a highly competitive market. But we were offering a very bohemian aesthetic in the core of wine country, which was kind of unheard of at that time. So there was a lot of barn venues. There were a lot of wineries for sure. The basic go-tos. And here we were offering a 20-acre parcel of desert land and sagebrush and mixed with pine trees and cacti, with a stick teepee as the ceremony site. And instantly, our market was very grateful and just started gravitating towards us. So we were excited about that.
And what that meant was covers of magazines. People started talking more about what you were doing. We'll come back and we'll finish that part of your journey. And then after hearing sort of the complexity of creativity that you brought together and the kind of attention you were getting on your farm through your side hustle, what led you to Ocean Springs? We're gonna talk about that when we come back. We're having a conversation with Craig and Chari Davis from Ocean Springs, who are entrepreneurs here in coastal Mississippi. And we'll learn more about their story when we come back from this break.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar. in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and
Wow.
All this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall in Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute.
Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on Super Talk Mississippi. Whether you're brand new to the DIY craze or a seasoned veteran, the Handyman Show has something for you. Buddy Slowick shares tips and tricks on everything from odd jobs to complete build-outs, from small home repairs to serious construction. So no matter if you're at the master carpenter level or not quite sure how to use a level, the Handyman Show answers your questions with a healthy dose of humor and some great music too. Saturdays, 10 to noon on Super Talk Mississippi and on Super Talk TV.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on Super Talk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. I have Craig and Chari Davis from Ocean Springs. They're entrepreneurs here in coastal Mississippi. We're kind of telling their cool story. But before we continue, we're going to pick it up in just a second with covers of magazines and kind of attention you guys are getting at your efforts in California. But before I go any further, I should have already done this. I just want to thank my friend Kathy Moeller. She, part of the Moeller family there in Ocean Springs. But she sent me a note and talked about you guys, and she's told me all these amazing things about you, and now I understand why. But she said you would be terrifically interesting to people for sure, and that people would be inspired by your entrepreneurial efforts. I want to thank your media representative, Kathy Moeller, for making sure I knew who you were.
Thanks, Kathy.
We love the Moellers. We love Kathy.
Yeah, they are awesome.
She'll enjoy the shout out, and she certainly deserves it. So, okay, so what we're going to do, I want to understand about the attention you guys were getting, and then the transition from there. What brought you to Ocean Springs? So you could do that sort of at the same time if you'd like.
Okay, sure. So we started landing, in a lot of magazines. I think the most exciting point of our life with that venture was landing the cover of Sunset Magazine, which, if anyone's familiar with Sunset Magazine, it's a nationally known magazine that is just so lifestyle based and so perfect and amazing. And it had been my favorite magazine for so long. And when we landed the cover of that, it was a pretty cool moment. One of those high fives to each other. But we ended up in magazines across the nation, including even in Australia. We even had Australian brands come to our property to do commercial photo shoots and video shoots. And so those were very exciting things. And we've been nationally recognized on blogs and international blogs as well for our efforts in the design world, but also in the wedding industry. And I guess it got to a point where even though we love California and we loved our farm, we also started craving more adventure and wanting to do more things, and been saving up to start another venue, knowing that we had something to offer people in other states. And so Craig and I would come down for Jazz Fest, and one year we were down for Jazz Fest. My dad said, "Chari, you have to check out Ocean Springs." I'm showing him my childhood home in Bay St. Louis, and my dad said, it's just a little further drive, just do it. You're going to fall in love. And instantly turns out we were getting DMs and emails from friends saying, hey, that's my hometown. Hey, I grew up in Ocean Springs. What are you doing in my hometown? And we realized that the universe works in such beautiful ways, and we were being led to our future home. So we went to Ocean Springs because there were people of our word, and instantly just fell in love from the moment that we drove into town. I think the first thing that really caught our eye was the fact that we could actually pull up to a beach and park, which is virtually unheard of in Southern California.
Right. Hey, so actually, that's an interesting point. Craig, so if you think about Ocean Springs and, I mean, this walkable, amazing community, people here can take it for granted. And there are a lot of Bay St. Louis is similar in this way, actually, that there's just something, there's such a unique sense of place about it. What about it reminded you of towns in Southern California?
Well, as Chari was saying, definitely the art, the live music, the culture, just the kind of the whole vibe, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Wasn't far off from Southern California. Just the people really separated Ocean Springs, Biloxi, Bay St. Louis, the whole Gulf Coast. It's night and day of the kind of attitude in Southern California. No one's honking at each other. Nobody's fighting over a parking spot. Nobody's flipping each other off. Everyone says hi. Everyone says hi to you and waves at you, which is kind of a shock.
I have had a number of shows where we have discussed this recently, actually, where often the perception of Mississippi is that the people who are here are something that we're not. and you can let your mind run wild on all those different perceptions. And then when they come here, they see something completely different, and they realize that at the core of Mississippi, it's DNA. It's competitive advantage. The people. That's what makes this such a special place. For someone who came from California to come, and decided to make an investment here, how important is what I just said?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's so important. We still are getting questions as to why did we invest in Mississippi, and ultimately, as of this year, we chose to move down here full time, and even sold our property in Southern California to assist in our ventures here and investment here, because we see so much opportunity, and we're so excited to become a part of this growing and beautiful and diverse community. But it is the most beautiful and epic melting pot of individuals and individuality and creativity and just humans, and something that we admire greatly. And I'll never stop, and I know he'll never stop either, admiring this, is the fact that here in Mississippi, especially at the Gulf Coast, people are genuinely just allowed to be who they are. No matter where they come from, no matter what they look like, no matter how they dress, no matter how they act, no matter who they love, they are loved, and they're treated with kindness and open arms, and it's just a beauty that is unmatched in any other place we've ever been.
Wow. I mean, Char, you said that so beautifully. You said that, but you do. There's a chronic appreciation that comes with something like what you just said when you've seen it in when you've experienced the world, and then you find a place like this that has such a beautiful sense of place and such beautiful people. I can't agree more. I obviously, Craig, what would you add to that?
I didn't want to cut her off, but a big thing that needs to be talked about is how pro-business Mississippi is opposed to California, and that's been a breath of fresh air. If I have questions, I call up north, and every single time, second ring, they pick up, they walk me through it, and they're nice. It's not like I'm a burden on them. They want to help, and so that has been just a breath of fresh air down here, is how pro-business Mississippi has been, at least to us. And I feel like it's the same conversation I have with other transplants that we meet down here. that we're just not used to in California. And so that was a big thing for us.
You know, it was pretty cool. The very first person we met the day that we pulled into Ocean Springs was Kenny Holloway. And he's become a magnificent human being in our lives as a friend, but also as a business ally, because he has helped support us through our growth and guided us along the way to ultimately find success. And the first conversation that we had with him as he passed us his business card, because he is a commercial real estate agent, was talking about the beauty of Ocean Springs and how beautiful the community is, but how pro-business everyone is as well. And it's a very, very beautiful thing.
Hey, so Chari, I'm going to tell you something kind of spooky, but literally as you're talking about Kenny just now, he sends me a text. So he literally, Kenny sent me a text while you're talking about Kenny. Kenny's a good friend, and I think he's going to be, I had the opportunity to moderate the forum, the mayoral forum that happened at the Roost. And Kenny, first of all, I think that there were a lot of passionate people. And the thing that I went away from that mayoral summit or conversation with was that whoever became the mayor, you'd be in good hands, because so many people were so passionate about that community. And of course, when it came down to two, I felt like the city would have been in good hands with either one of them. Kenny's the new mayor now. He's the mayor-elect, and he's been on my show. In fact, he's going to be on again in June to talk about his plans for the city. But, he's uniquely positioned, just like you say. I mean, he's an entrepreneur. He's been in so many different businesses. He's got, he's a real estate guy. He gets the value of real estate. He knows why it's important to maintain and protect the sense of place while developing simultaneously. You can do both simultaneously. The best communities are able to do that, and he gets that to his core. So, you're lucky to be friends with him, but more important, you're lucky to have him as your incoming mayor, because I think he's going to be a terrific mayor. I do think he's going to be in that job for probably as long as he wants it. That doesn't mean that, an outspoken community like Ocean Springs, where people like to be engaged in the democratic process, there won't be bumps along the way. That's what you get in a place like Ocean Springs. That's what makes a place like Ocean Springs so special, because of these diversity of opinions about how you go forward. But I think the one thing most people assign to is this soul within this community, this very special sense of place that everybody wants to sort of protect. And that's the one thing you have going in your favor. Hey, we just got a couple of minutes left. We'll go ahead and start this part of the conversation, and we'll finish it on the other side. But actually, he's showing me the clock just as we speak. But what we'll do when we come back, we'll talk specifically about your efforts in Ocean Springs. You've made an investment now over into Biloxi. Want to hear what that's all about. But this is Craig and Chari Davis, my new friends. I love what they say about their kind of connection that they've created here in coastal Mississippi. It's good to have an outsider's view of our place and to see it for themselves and let them describe it. And we're going to capture the way you said that, Chari, just a few minutes ago, because it is magic what you described, and it's the reason I started Coast Vue. So when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever, with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi. Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth. When you want the truth. Simply because it might hurt some feelings. And nothing but the truth. Lose some subscribers. You want the Gallo Radio Show. I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead. The Gallo Radio Show. And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself. Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends.
We're talking to Dale Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera flips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. I have Craig and Chari Davis, entrepreneurs in Ocean Springs and Biloxi now, I might add. They came from Southern California. They're pretty renowned for their unique sense of design, et cetera, and what they've been able to create. And they're the way they've sort of connected the human spirit with their unique service for entertaining and weddings and vacations and whatever else. It's going to be interesting watching you two go. But I wanted to point one quick thing out. One of the beauties of this show is I get a chance to visit with my guests during the break, and I was thanking Chari specifically and Craig as well, of course, but her words that she described coastal Mississippians and how they differ from other places that she's been. I want to capture that and put it in a can so that every now and then I can open it up and be reminded, an outsider who is now an insider, I might add, view of this place. It was just beautiful the way she described it. I can't thank her enough for inspiring me. This is the reason I do Coast View, for a matter of fact. Okay, we only have a few minutes left, but thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Now, tell me why what you're doing in Ocean Springs is so special, and then we'll switch gears. And Craig, you can talk about what you're going to be doing in Biloxi. So let's talk about Ocean Springs first.
Okay. The Jackson Pearl, as we've mentioned before, is located in downtown Ocean Springs. It's mere steps from the beautiful hustle and bustle there of the restaurant scene and the boutiques, but also the beach, the beautiful Gulf Coast. It's a historic building that we've restored to magnificent, magical beauty. It's moody and wonderful and drenched in chandeliers and individuality, and it is a place for all people to come and be themselves and celebrate life's accomplishments. We even had just this weekend a beautiful graduation party for the Barretts. So many things to do there. If you need a place to party, no matter how big or small, just call us up. And our next venture is in Biloxi. It's a sister property to the Jackson Pearl. So we're transitioning the same type of aesthetic that we offer within our design firm and at the Jackson Pearl to a historic vacation rental in downtown Biloxi on Howard Avenue.
Yeah, we're really excited because, it's another historic home from 1902 that we're currently landscaping, repainting the outside. Literally, after we're done here, we'll be outside painting. But Chari did an amazing job designing it. Every room in here is very unique and different. And we have a cool music kind of library room. We have a secret whiskey room.
A little bootleg speakeasy, per se.
And it's very unique because the back part of the property is a very big New Orleans style courtyard. Big trees, we're making it very, very lush. So it really opens up the opportunity for folks to come over and, say they wanted to do a bridal shower here. If they rented the short-term rental for the weekend, there's a big space in the back. We have string lights, and there's a built-in barbecue and a side area with bistro tables and just a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and it gives everyone an opportunity to experience the natural history of the area in a historically preserved home. We've kept the quintessential items here for that, but it's in walking distance of Shucker Stadium, Fly Llama Brewery, the beach. Literally, you could see out the window.
Right next door to Jacked Up Coffee, so you get your amazing coffee. And
you can walk to the casinos and the green of the district. So it's a great place, and we're just really excited to keep just bringing love to everything that we do here and love to the people.
So that your first cooperative was called Wolf Feather Honey, and now this one is called the Bootleg Howl. What's the connection there?
Wolf Feather Honey derived from Craig's party nickname back in the day, and in the industry was White Wolf, and my maiden name was Bird. So birds of a feather flock together. So we created Wolf Feather Honey. Wolf and feather stick together with love as sweet as honey. A little poem I came up with one day, and then we just stuck. And we turned that into our corporation. The Bootleg Howl came from a Creedence Clearwater Revival song. And you got to hear it, Bootleg. It's a really great song, and that's our theme song for this house. We just liked the idea of the history of bootlegging here on especially the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and even a couple neighboring houses. But also, Al Capone is a very famous old resident of Ocean Springs, may I add. But also, I like the idea of the Bootleg Howl representing kind of the Wolf Feather Honey connection there. So we just have fun with our names, and it kind of sticks.
It's very, very cool. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to watch you guys do what you do. Hey, before we only got like a minute left. So if someone wants to get more information about either one of these efforts, how can they learn more?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, but we're primarily Instagram folks. It's that new age technology, I guess. House of the Jackson Pearl. You can email us at thejacksonpearl@gmail.com. You can find us at the Bootleg Howl on Instagram as well, or at Wolf Feather Honey on Instagram.
Wow. Look, like I said, I never know where the conversations are going to go. I knew based on what Kathy Moeller had to say about you guys that I'd be inspired today. I really looked forward to it, but I had no idea that I would be inspired as much as I've been inspired just because of your representation of what you found special about coastal Mississippians. And I really thank you for that. It's been a terrific conversation.
Thanks,
and
Rick.
I wish you guys all the luck in the world. Next time I'm in Ocean Springs, I'll stop by and take a look at the Jackson Pearl.
Please do. We're excited to show you around.
You bet, for sure. This has been a special visit with Craig and Chari Davis of Ocean Springs, and hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for having us.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.